Hi. Okay, I'm videotaping tonight, guys.
Cool.
All right. I'd like to know when the room was changed
Last
be-
week.
because I just pulled this from the town website and it says room 3.
Last week.
I'm just telling you what's posted online.
You wanna go up to room 3, we'll go up to room 3, it was supposed to be room 4.
Whenever you're ready.
It says
I'm waiting on
posted over
Jack, I
here.
don't have agendas and stuff that's coming down. What's that?
It says it's posted August 14th at 3:25 on the agenda, right here. That comes from the computer.
This is what I just pulled from online, town website. Just before I got here.
How can that be?
Don't ask me. I'm just telling you what I just pulled off because
Look at mine. It's just like, look, see what it says?
I'm just telling you what I pulled offline before I came here.
Town website. Oh.
Did you just pull this from the town website?
Yeah, no, I pulled it from my board,
Because it's crossed out that it's room 3 here.
and my secretary did that.
See, Jack, but look at this, right on the website. I pulled this right from the website.
I don't know. What do you want me to tell you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I pulled this from Kathy Kay's email. I'm sorry. Came from Kathy Kay. She's
So-
attached it.
Alright, so we're gonna get started. We're gonna open
Oh,
up,
maybe it's a big
the
room.
open up the redevelopment authority meeting of August, let's say the 19th at 6:04. First on the agenda is discussion, possible vote, request from Waterville Village and NSTAR to fund the infrastructure in conversion. I'll give you guys an update. Oh, that's actually a different item, so I won't even do that. Jack, you wanna give an update on your conversation recently with Waterview Village as of today?
As of today, they have withdrawn their request for to borrow, if that's the right word, the $50,000, and that they decided to go their own way on that. They are still open for any help you guys could offer them on any individual hardships people may have to convert. But as far as the 50 grand, they just felt it was more cost effective for them to do it on their own. How's that?
It's a little confusing.
Well, I think the bottom line is this, and I talked to them last week about it, and they told me they would tell me by today. The way, when we met with Rockland Trust, to get $50,000, to get a $50,000 letter of credit was not a problem. To borrow that $50,000 out of the line of credit, there would be obviously interest for 2 years, and that came out to about $100 per
Was that
household.
It was, the interest was gonna be $135
Was that at 100?
$135 a month, fixed for 2 years.
But you had it calculated per house.
I had to calculate $100 per household as a service
Fee.
fee.
So she said, you know, as long as the people, this is my conversation with her last week, is if the people have the $1,000, it's cheaper for them to lose a year's or two of interest on their end than to have to pay a $135 fee. It's only about $10 interest they'd be losing. So economically, it's cheaper for them to just shell out the $1,000 each.
I've got the email from Jack Shea. Our thoughts is to provide a $50,000 loan, interest only with a 24-month maturity, so long as the principal remains outstanding at a rate of 3.5% fixed for a year. Estimated interest would be for the 12 months would be $1,750, or an outstanding minimum 24 months would be no principal reduction of $3,500. Interest only payable monthly would be $145.84. So I took the $3,500 for the 24-month period and figured that there'd be maybe a little bit of fluctuation in whether it was administrative costs or what have you, at $100 a household at the $50,000. That would be 50 households.
50? The contract said 61.
It'd be 50 is the only one that we would allocate for $50,000 for 50 households.
That's
The
correct.
contract between National Grid, NSTAR Gas, and the property owners to do all 61, that's their thing, but they were looking for the 50 to help. At least that was my understanding, so I took that, and that comes out to like $5,000. So there'd be i.e., if we went down this road, a profit of about $1,500, depending on whatever costs we had on the loan. But that being said, according to what Jack's telling us today, that they're not interested in doing that. This pretty much walks right into item number 3 at the same time.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
Question. If my memory serves me right, when she came, not everybody had $1,000.
Yes,
Some people didn't, and that was the initial reason why they came, right?
No.
Everybody's got $1,000?
They have 51 signatures committing $1,000 each. They came to see you to help those that may not be able to afford the conversion from propane to gas.
So my question is, does the contract said 61, I'm assuming,
It should have
there
said
was like
51.
maybe this.
That's a
The
typo.
question I have is everybody gonna be hooked up with $1,000, whatever it costs, $1,000?
You're getting mixed up between being hooked up and laying the gas line. The
If you lay the
50 grand
gas
is-
line, they wanted money for that.
That's
didn't they?
50,000, that's what we're talking about.
I think, wasn't it they wanted the other 11 people, help for the other 11
For
people?
conversion.
For conversion, yeah, and then they needed 51 people, they got a solid contract for 51 people, or commitment, I should say. That would solidify running a line from point A to point B all the way through let's call it the park.
The whole entire
The whole
park.
entire park would get line passed, so that way future hookups could happen, meaning the other 11 people could then get hooked up or
Correct.
Well, then,
transferred over from propane.
then was my question was, when we were negotiating with NSTAR, were we planning, so when they went around the park, everybody would get hooked up?
No, because the NSTAR doesn't do the hookups.
I don't mean, well, they gotta run,
Yeah.
they've gotta run some kind of a
Everyone would
meter.
have a line in front of them.
NSTAR,
So everybody's gonna have a line regardless whether it's 51 or 61.
Right. Those, in other words,
Right.
those 11
And-
people get a free ride.
NSTAR's looking for the potential of picking everyone in that park up. They're not gonna go in there for a few people, they
I
want the
understand.
whole enchilada,
Okay.
so everybody else is gonna have to come up with a plumber to go out there and run
Realize,
black pipe
yeah,
or
yeah.
copper coil, that's what they're gonna have to do.
So NSTAR agreed to come, in this thing that keeps talking about in my mind, this Louise came, she wasn't talking about the NSTAR, she was
No.
satisfied with her deal with the NSTAR.
Correct.
Then why
But
did
we'll have this idea that maybe we can help expedite this, but the problem is the carrying cost for us. And
Yeah.
and the fee that would be placed on these people, if evidently, they think it's not worth it, I don't know. I'm not there.
well, that was the opinion of that lady you talked to today.
I
It was
showed
my-
you
it
the,
was my
text message
understanding-
just said, they decided not
Right.
to go. there.
Now, I went a little further, if you will, and I have some Red Hat friends who live there. And I spoke to one of them, and she said she's on the board, she was never asked to come to a board meeting. Number two, no park resident meeting ever took place initially, so nobody ever knows anything about what's going on here except for this Louise. She wasn't too happy, but.
Well, I think we're running into the problem of they're telling us one thing, this Louise lady's telling us
Who's the
one
vice
thing,
president?
who's the vice president. And whether she's representing all the interests in the park or not, she's obviously the vice president, she's informing us that, as of today, that they're okay.
That's correct. talked to her. today.
So, and that they're gonna go at it alone. Now, whether or not their board made that decision, or whoever showed up at their meeting, we're not purview to that. This was an offer that we worked on to try to do that, and when we get to item 3, I'm gonna talk about the offer and everything. That I thought, initially, when we had discussed their needs, I thought is similar to you guys did, while assuming that the burden of that $1,000 commitment to NSTAR Gas was a pretty big burden on people that still had to come up with money to do hookups. And my thoughts is that if the redevelopment authority in our purview on trying to help redevelop this parcel, this project, if we went out and we took the assets that we have available to us and come up with the money to take care of that, that loosens up the money for them to use for the hookups, the conversion kits, not for laying of the actual IE infrastructure and being out $1,000 for however long it would take for them to get it back. That
But
was
wait a
my
minute, I gotta
thoughts.
stop you, because when he's explaining to me, there was no initial outlay of $1,000 on a per house basis.
Yes,
Always has been there.
always.
Day one.
How come I'm missing it, guys?
I don't know. NSTAR Gas requires at least a minimum of 51 households
50.
with a commitment, 50, with a commitment. And that commitment is $1,000 per household.
Oh, okay, so they are gonna have to come up with 1,000,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So
Each
there will
household.
be some people, if they can do all 50, everybody in that whatever who signed on, and there are a few people who didn't sign on, they're still gonna have that pipe running around the
Right,
house.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
so they're
11
gonna let,
people
you just
that
said a free ride.
Well, right, because they didn't have to put up $1,000.
Okay, so now I am really confused, because now, for $125, $100 per household, they were going to get the freedom of not using $1,000 of their
But
own
that's,
money.
that's their choice of what they're saying. Bob?
Okay, just to be clear, Louise was here when she first came here to ask for help for the people that needed help there. That was her main purpose,
Yep,
okay? So she wasn't, this was really clear with what she intended, all right? This other thing with the NSTAR and the $50,000 and, all right, that was from Will, was a suggestion from him, okay? And as it sees that it's done and over with right now, so I don't think we need to talk about it anymore, because it's a moot point.
I agree.
But I'm sure they're gonna come back and want us to help them with a conversion, which I'm not willing
Well-
to do at this point.
Well, you know what, if a resident or 2 or 3 or 10 need help with the conversion, I would have no problem them coming back here before us and say, I individually need help with this, is there anything the redevelopment authority can do for me? I have no problem with them asking us, and then we turn around, we discuss it, and we move forward.
She did ask me about that. So
Yep.
I said, well, we're gonna talk to them.
Okay, so I think we discussed the issue of that. Anybody else got anything on item 1? Moving on to item 2, which is discussion possible vote on renewing the existing line of credit for $30,000 with Rockland Trust. Had a phone conversation last week with Mr. Paul Vickery and
John Shea.
John Shea on the phone about item 2 and number 3, but they said that we need a vote of this board, and I'm gonna read the vote that they're looking for. Please be advised that the Carbon Redevelopment Authority, at the meeting on August 19, 2013, voted unanimously to approve the Carbon Redevelopment Authority's application to Rockland Trust, renew its line of credit for $30,000, and in doing so, authorizing the chairman and treasurer as signatories of such line of credit. I've attached the minutes of August 19, 2013, meetings for your review. If you have any questions regarding this action or any other matters, please contact me at once. Sincerely, William Sinclair, Chair. That is the request of what Mr. Vickery said that we needed for the $30,000. So I'm asking someone to make a motion to authorize said.
Make that motion to approve what you said for the $30,000 and have two signers. I agree with that.
Do I have a second?
I will second. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second that.
All right, motion made and seconded. Any other discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm working with Kathy Kay, Jack's secretary, to firm up, what are we gonna call this? It's,
The financial
it's your
statements.
financial statement for 2012, which needs to go out to Vickery as well.
Yeah, he needed the vote when you were appointed secretary, treasurer,
Treasurer.
I got that.
Okay,
He also needs that letter, he needs the financial statements, and he needs the minutes of tonight's meeting.
okay.
And that's the packet. You ship it off, and it's pretty quick, actually.
Mm.
Okay, Sharon said, all in favor, say aye.
Alright,
Aye, unanimous, thank you. Okay, number 3, discussion and possible vote on new line of credit of $50,000 of Rockland Trust. I'll get into this a little bit. When we were talking to them about the Waterview Village N-Star Gas project, I know that on item 1, we went through this, they're not interested in it, but I want you guys to know the cooperation from Rockland Trust and their enthusiasm on said project. They were very willing to authorize us the $50,000, but as in a separate line item with a fixed interest rate. So that way it would be more apt for us to know all our fixed costs, and it'd be specific for a project. And they didn't want us to have the problem with utilizing our $30,000, then asking just for a $20,000 or a $30,000 bump, because if there's some other project might come up that would be interested not only to the redevelopment authority or to the community, we'd be able to have that
Yeah,
asset to
sounds
do
good.
that.
Yeah.
So they were very excited to try to help us with that and help the community. I want everybody to know that. That being said, I think that, in my opinion, even knowing that we had this discussion on item 1, that Waterview Village, Sandy, what's her name? Louise has expressed that they're not interested in the $50,000. My concern is Joanna has people that she's spoke with there that kind of really don't have any idea what's going on.
That's right.
So I'd suggest to you guys, and I'll lay it out on the table for you, is I think we ought to act on this. I think that we should take the vote on the $50,000, but not move on it unless we absolutely have a commitment from the people of Waterview Village. I think that if it is just a certain percentage, or there's a lot of residents there that don't wanna go through it, I don't wanna have to have another meeting to come back in a rush type atmosphere and say, okay, they are ready, we have this, things have changed, now we have to do the vote all over again. I'd like to have the vote authorize them, but not to act on it.
Mhm.
I think would be helpful for us to be one step closer. And then reach out to them and say, listen, we have conflicting reports. What is really going on? I think that, in my opinion, I think the program was a good program. I think that it frees up that $1,000 for the individual homeowner, and that they could use that $1,000 for the conversion end. And the people that do need the help, have them come in front of us like Bob was suggesting, and ask and see if we can help them that way. But I think that this by acting on in approving the vote gets us one step closer, so we don't have to come back for that. All we'd have to do is come back saying, I could have an agenda item saying to you guys, listen, things have changed, this is what they're willing to do, this is what's in place, and we've already approved that authorization to borrow, but we're not going to borrow. Now I want you to give us permission to borrow that. It's almost like a two-tier process.
Well, yeah, because it might not be this project, but it could be another project.
Right, and I'd like the app to have it there.
Yeah, it's
It could be
available to
something
us.
different.
Right.
Um,
So every year, we would just be entertaining 2 lines of credit, one for 30 and one for 50?
the 30, yes, the 50, is very specific for this program only.
Oh, okay.
But we wouldn't act on it. In other words, the board's voting the 50,000 is my thoughts, and I'm not gonna make the decision for the board, I'll have you guys weigh in. But I wanna be clear, you guys will vote hopefully in favor to say, okay, we're willing to do that, but not to act on it. In other words, not to go out and sign on the $50,000 loan until we have clarification from Waterview Village if they do need the help or if they don't need the help.
Okay.
So I think it's a good idea, and I'm up to hear from you guys. You wanna do that? You wanna wait and see if it's something that's gonna come back? I just wanna be able to respond to, Paul Vickery and
Vickery,
Mr. Shea.
I say that, yeah.
So what's your thoughts? I'm looking for input.
Sounds to me like you need to get your, you need to figure out what the needs of the village are, first of all, Waterview Village, you know. If there's some kind of flux going on there in that community, then it needs to be ironed out before we put any dollars on any line, so, you
Yep.
know, with a contingency plan like that, like if they're gonna come to us and ask us for the money, contingent on them knowing what they're doing, yeah, then I say we go after $50,000 to help them out, but until we've got solid commitment from them that they're gonna move in a particular direction,
Yeah.
I think it's a good move not to go $50,000 deeper down the road until we
Okay.
don't hear from them.
So I'm clear that you'd rather hold off.
I would hold off, yeah.
Okay.
Can I also add to the dilemma that's going on in that park when I talked to my friend there? But if they do come to us, I would ask that both Jack and yourself go down to the park, make a meeting with the residents, not the board, but the residents, and clearly define what our intentions are, we're gonna help and costs and so forth, and then go on with something.
You had mentioned that to me
I
last
did.
week.
Yeah, I
and
did.
I fully expected to do that after tonight.
Oh,
That was my
okay.
next step,
Uh-huh,
but,
yeah.
you know, some of the times politics in these parks can be.
Well,
maybe
So
we're-
Joanna,
maybe
for
worse than town
clarification
hall.
from you, is your opinion is to hold off on authorizing the vote on the 50 or to move forward? Which one? Brian wants to hold off. I understand that completely. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll agree with Brian,
Okay.
and I just wanna make sure that I understand, holding off means that was specific to this project.
It is specific.
Okay,
That
so-
line is very specific only for this project.
Okay, so I would agree with Brian.
Bob, what's your opinion?
I also agree, I don't think we should overextend ourselves more than what our finances have. I mean, the 50,000 I thought was a fine, offer for us. It's within our budget that we have available to us, and, but if it's such in flux right now, I don't think we should act on it at all.
Okay, so hearing that, can I have said motion not to act on the $50,000 line of credit that's offered to us from Rockland Trust?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous, thank you very much.
I think we did 4 already.
Okay. Yeah, 4 is all done. That was at the one discussion there that we had on a vote on the 30,000. Update on the paint project. Discussion and possible vote on marketing features such as posters and banners.
You see, I got a
So,
quote from Sign by Design, it wasn't $1,000, I heard from the.
Yeah, I missed.
There's $100
Wow, that's a big difference.
for the banner. Now, this is a smaller banner, it's not like that ginormous one that's out in front of Town Hall. This is just to go like in front of the
Store, yeah.
storeway,
Okay.
and then to use at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
And then the poster is just so he can put it up in the store next to, what's the name, the paint center or whatever
Yeah.
it's in there, yeah.
But it says one custom banner, you
Yes.
mentioned 2 places.
Correct, we're gonna move it around.
Oh, you're gonna move it around. Is it on some kind of a stand or something?
No, it's that little, what, grommet
Yeah, just grommets,
Grommets, yeah.
throw some string on it, hang it up,
Right.
off you go.
Well, how do you do that when you're in the park?
Oh, cause they have the booths, and you put it on the side of the booth, they'll be there.
Oh, we have a booth?
They have a community booth.
Oh, really?
So, that being said, why don't we act on the proposal estimate from Signs and Designs for $100 for the custom printed banner and also for the poster for $100. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move that we accept, as written, signs by design for $100 for the banner and 2 posters.
Second.
Second by Bob, motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Need to sign that.
All right, other discussion on the paint program. I understand that we have one person that has come in and has done the application. Joanna has approved it. Bob, have you gone out and did the preliminary picture end of it?
Yes, I did.
You did? All right. So I guess we're moving forward. We'll need all those copies of,
Do you have the picture?
we have the copies
No, I
of.
don't have it with me today.
Everything's in the folder.
Good, so
We have
that
a
way,
folder for each.
we'll get that from Bob, the
Both
pictures, so that way we
electronically
can.
and paper.
So Bob, you're gonna send it to him electronically?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing too, if I may, Jack, this particular one, I looked at the original on the Carver website, and it has another whole section down there where I was supposed to sign and date it and so forth, so I don't know how this came about.
That, she downloaded that off the website, filled it out, scanned it, and sent it to us, and somehow it got messed up.
Oh,
Outside the
okay.
margins, probably.
When she came
Yeah, it
back,
was set, cause it was cut, see that
When-
other part? there?
when she came back, we had her fill out a new application,
Okay.
and we got all the correct
Did you
information.
take my sign,
We
out of it?
attached that to it,
oh, attach it,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine.
and I gave her 6 vouchers, and I haven't heard from Aubuchon's. I did tell, I sent that to Aubuchon's as well, so Eric knows that.
So the house needed to have painting, Bob? And she says, better the appearance of the house would start with all outside trim as well as the shutters, create curb appeal.
I was just happy with that one.
I was wondering, did you interview her and see how she got it?
She saw it in the Carver Reporter.
Oh, okay, it's been in there every time, every week I see
It was
it.
in this Friday, last Friday.
But you know something, I spend about a half an hour on CCAT and I have never seen it.
I'll send that to him again.
I'm going there tomorrow
I'll
for my,
There
Do
you
your
go,
thing,
Joanne. I had to laugh when I heard that.
this is the what you sent him?
Yes.
I
and I'll
will be
send it
there
again.
tomorrow. Please send it again and I will ask
You
Richard
go.
why it's not on there.
I agree.
Well, that's wonderful.
I have to admit, I don't watch it that much, but I haven't seen it.
I purposely spent the half an hour, they had COA, Reiki,
Oh, they got all kinds of
all
junk.
kinds of stuff on there, but it was nothing for about this, so.
Well, I'm excited somebody's using it, and hopefully we can get more people to use it, that's good.
Right,
What's it take to put like a, what do you call those things when you're a paper boy? Like an insert into the cover reporter, where people will see that.
well, this
Yeah,
year,
that as an insert. What's
good
that
question,
cost?
that's a good question.
Wonder if they did it as a community service.
How many people get the paper and don't read it, they just kinda get it?
No, that's not true,
That
I
never
read it.
happens,
I
right?
read it.
According to what ads it's stuck in, I guess.
Mhm.
I'll ask.
Alright.
Okay, moving on.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
when is this gonna be available, this $100 that we just voted?
Oh, I'm gonna scan this and give it to Peter, and I assume,
They'll do it.
The turnaround time,
I don't know how long it takes them.
is this to be considered a voucher that I have to pay
Yeah, we'll have to pay that.
Absolutely.
when I come in
He'll,
with the checkbook?
Kathy.
he'll
Yeah.
turn, he'll turn around and after he does, because that's just an estimate, so after he does the project, he'll invoice us, then we'll pay it.
Okay,
We don't pay it on the
This is
estimate.
just for him to proceed.
Exactly.
He hasn't designed it yet.
all right, okay. Oh, he hasn't?
No, now he'll design it.
This
But I
look-
gave him
Did he
that.
do these? Did he do?
No,
the-
I did those.
Oh, yeah? Hmm.
Wow, I think that was a compliment, I'm not sure.
Mm,
Close.
yeah.
Should say RDA right there, RDA paint.
It should be CRA, Carver
Yeah, Carver.
redevelopment.
All right, moving on. Item number 6, discussion and possible vote on redevelopment authority secretary. As of our last meeting, we don't have the minutes, but Bob had resigned as the RDA secretary. Want to know what the pleasure and thoughts of the board is, so it's open for discussion. It's on the agenda, so let's get it out there.
I see the recorder here.
That's Bob's. I brought one.
Dueling
We
recorder.
purchased one because I
Okay.
didn't know what we were gonna do, so at least we have something to go by.
Okay, now Bob officially resigned.
Yep. So,
So his recorder, you're just doing this for your pleasure? Okay. And yours is business.
yep, I'm just gonna do it and I'm gonna try to do the minutes because somebody has to do it,
Okay.
so.
So we'll try it out.
Yep.
And so we can give it a couple months? More than that?
We'll see how it works, I
Yeah,
guess.
see how it works.
Did you explain to him what you're doing?
What I've done is I've gone out and I've purchased the Dragon Nuance software. And purchased the recorder that works with it. So, we'll see if it helps us at all. I know that, Bob did a good job on this, on the minutes, they were pretty detailed. So we'll see how, and if I can come up with time to do all that. So I'm hoping that for my discussions with Nuance, it'll take a little bit to get through it, for it to recognize each one of our voices and to transcribe it. There'll be editing that'll have to take place and all that. But I'm hoping that you'll be patient enough as I will be and frustrated enough as I will be to, hopefully it'll work for us and alleviate the absence of the secretarial's position for now.
Okay, give it a shot.
So we'll give it a shot.
We're in the 21st century.
Yeah,
I wanna see it work first.
me too.
Brian looks skeptical.
Well, I've seen it work, it works pretty good.
Oh, no? Do you guys use it?
No, a friend of mine used to work for Dragon, actually, and, he was a technician for them and a trainer. And the only thing you'll probably, like he says, it has to have voice recognition, it has to understand who's who, and then the editing will come in where it creates words out of garble.
Yeah.
You know, so you'll just have to scan through it
And fix them?
and fix it a little here and there, yeah, pretty much.
Does it get learned?
Oh yeah, it's very intuitive.
Really?
That's the beauty of it, yeah, it's been around a long time, so,
Yeah, I see it on TV, but.
yeah. I mean,
My cousin, I told, I think it was Jack, was it you? Or maybe Will, I forgot, but he was swearing in it. She
Oh, you
bought it
told me.
for her son because he was not doing well in his English and so forth, writing his reports and so forth. He would never get them in on time, so she went ahead and purchased this Dragon, I'm assuming it's Nuance. And in the privacy of his room, he would swear F you and all this other stuff. Oh my God, they had a falling out, but he actually
My
turned.
kids would have a field day with
Yeah,
Oh,
he actually accepted it after a while because it actually works,
yeah, it's a nice program.
yeah.
It's been around about 12 years, Dragon,
Oh, wow.
so it's not, the bug's gotta be out of it by now.
I would hope so.
Yeah, well,
Well,
just
give it a shot.
not like
What
something
about-
to look at.
There are 2 sets of minutes I still need.
Okay. Bob, you'll forward those to us?
Which two?
The ones that were edited at the last meeting
July
and the
22nd.
last meeting.
The last meeting was August 5th.
That one and the one before.
We edited that because we didn't want the bottom part to be there.
Right, I need that.
Right, but that's already posted online.
Oh, it is, okay, good. And then the last meeting,
Just the last one is,
okay.
it wasn't on the agenda, that I didn't bring it in here today.
Oh.
I had problems with my
Is that-
computer
is that
this
it?
month.
We were down all last Wednesday, Thursday, and
Okay, so the minutes for the August 5th meeting is the one we are looking for.
If you could forward that to us, so that way we can all read it prior to the meeting, would be greatly appreciated. Alright. Next item. Item number 7, discussion and possible vote on August 12th, 2013, open meeting allegations. As you guys all know, and if you don't know, I'm sure you know by now, we had another open meeting law violation filed by Bob. I just took it and I forwarded it to our attorney. That is the response from Kathleen on that, and I'm sure Bob has it,
No, we don't.
because it's supposed to be mailed to him.
No, this is the first time seeing it.
Yeah, it's August 19th, we got it today, but it'll be coming to you. Pretty much self-explanatory. And that's all I got, you guys can all digest it, and if you want, we'll bring it up at another meeting. Other than that, I'm pretty good with it.
I totally disagree with this. And this is unacceptable, okay, because number one, it says here, it appears from your and just to let everyone know, I put my name on that too, the open meeting law complaint, it was all of us, because we're all in the room standing there, okay? See, it appears from your transcript that the incident that is apparently subject to your complaint resulted from your introduction of new matters for the next agenda after the meeting had adjourned. Your transcript does not include that deliberation took place, and further, your transcript confirms that the quorum of the RDA was not present in the room. In my opinion, the failure to include discussions that took place between the members of the CRA does not constitute a violation of open meeting law. I thoroughly disagree. There were 4 of us in the room. A quorum of a 5-member board is 3. All 4 of us was in that room, along with Jack Hunter, which meets a quorum, so that's wrong. Number 2 is, Will and I stood at the end of the table here, and I asked him to put something on the agenda, which was that packet of papers that we went through. Out of the corner of my ears that I heard you two talking about the 2 project for Waterview Village and the tree one, all right, and you made a comment about N-Star dragging their feet or something like that. When I heard that comment, I stood up and I said, we shouldn't be discussing this, all right? Now, that happened, period, cut and dry. That's a discussion in amongst of a quorum of a body, all right, that all I did was, it happened during that day, it needed to be posted. It needed to be disclosed, okay? It happened during that time frame. It'd be the easiest way to do it is to put it in there and say, hey, we admit this discussion's happened in and amongst a quorum of members that were there. Period, cut and dry. And that's a deliberation, okay? Now, for our lawyer to turn around and try to say, hey, it's not deliberations, is totally unacceptable, because it was. Period. If you go to the open meeting law and what it says about a deliberation, it is. Okay? All I did was turn around and put it in there so that people would know that we disclosed that this discussion took place after we adjourned the meeting, okay, which would have complied with the law that we disclosed it. And it was 2 members here, all right, Joanna and Brian, that voted to get rid of that stuff on the bottom of that meeting minutes. Okay, which I felt was a cover-up of the redevelopment authority for that information that came up, period. Now, Will turned around and decided not to make anything and say, hey, I'm recusing myself from the vote, which I think is cowardly, because you knew it was wrong. You knew the discussions that were held.
Well, first of all, I'm not gonna sit here and listen to your crap, all right?
Yeah.
You're saying that we're doing cover-ups, you love accusations, you love words, I'm not dealing with that. Not to say that I'm sitting here being cowardly because I refuse to act on accusations, allegations from you, when the first thing I did was sent it to the proper channels. If you have a problem with Kathleen's response, I'm sure you're gonna get it in the mail. Contact her. You're a member of this board, but don't sit here and do accusations toward me and badmouth me in front of anybody. I'm not gonna stand for it.
Okay.
As simple as that.
All you had to do was turn around and say, hey.
I told you I didn't want
agree.
to move on it, period. Because I didn't respond in your way or what you wanted, that's too bad. That's my right as a board member, and any one of these boards, that if I disagree or I don't want to participate in a vote on said minutes, that's my right to do that.
It is, I just personally feel that it's cowardly.
Well, that's your opinion and your
And it
right
is.
to it, and I don't want to hear it.
That's
It's not
fine.
a cowardly act. There's no way that it's a cowardly act. It is my opinion. I think that some of your allegations is way out of line, but it's your right to make them. And as long as I'm
I'd like
on
to
this
know
board and
which
every board,
Which
you
allegations
want to
of
make
mine are wrong?
allegations, is fine with me.
Well, what
Every single
allegations
one.
did I make that were not true and accurate on my open
Every
meeting law
single
complaint?
one that you've made, in my opinion, I think your allegations, which that's what these are, and we have to move forward on them because it's an open meeting law allegation, that we have to forward that. I think it's a waste of this board's time and energy. But that's your right as a member of and a citizen of this town. You want to keep doing it, keep doing it. It's clear that that's the impression that you want to do.
Open
If
and
you
honest-
think, Bob, that we're trying to cover things up with all the good that we've done on this board, my opinion is simple. You're looking for something that ain't there. And just because it's not your way, and this is a personal statement, if you think that your opinion, just because you don't get it, is wrong and to act out that way, it's not being constructive.
What am I not getting here? Why? 'Cause
I don't know.
I don't wanna conform to things that are being done that I disagree with,
I don't think there's any problem with that.
okay? And bottom line is, all you had to do is admit, yeah, these discussions did take place.
How come if people didn't want to do that, Bob, that's not what you wanted to hear, so this is what we get, is another open meeting law violation, allegation. If that's your thing, that's good, that's your right to do that, Bob. It's your right, as a citizen, as a board member, to do it. We're responding to it. This is our attorney, she's responded to it. You disagree with her. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I know
Yep.
you're gonna continue this forever.
No,
No,
no.
because I'm gonna leave, because I gotta pick my daughter up.
2 dates, next Tuesday at 7:30 is going to be both the Jack Franny thing and the meeting with the Crystal Lake neighborhood. I'll post. The other one is.
So is that 7 PM?
7:30. There's some public hearing before that. And on September 9th, I know Brian can't make it, but the BDC is gonna have the Center for Economic Development. I invited you via email to try to be there.
Yeah, I'm
I'd
trying
like
to be
get
there,
as many
yeah.
boards there. You can continue
Perfect.
whatever you're doing.
All right, that being said. Anything else on the open meeting law allegation?
Yeah, if you will, Mr.
Yep.
Chairman, the next page, Kathleen O'Donnell clearly states, the operations of a municipal board or committee are always complicated, and certainly requirements for record retention, preparation of proper minutes, publication of agendas can make committee work difficult. But this is the important part. Copeland and Page, Town Council for the town of Carver, does present seminars on compliance with the open meeting law from time to time, and perhaps it would respond to a request from the town for a session for all town boards, commissions, and committees. I think, Bob, if I would suggest to you, if I were you, I would go to the town administrator and make that request to create an open meeting seminar
It's
for
been-
all these boards.
The Attorney General's office mandated it to be done last year, and it was done, I think it was last year, year before, they mandated it, because of so many open meeting law complaints, through the selectmen's meeting and everything else, okay? And it happened, okay? It was discussed not too long ago that maybe they need to have another one,
So
all
why
right,
don't
for
you
boards
bring
and
it,
committees, all
bring
right?
it to them? I would suggest you
But-
bring it to them.
I just feel that, this letter, and you know what, I'm gonna appeal it anyways, and it'll go to the Attorney General's office, and I'll have them get the audio that's there, that clearly has it on, and I wanna make it perfectly clear. That audio that I had that was going at the time of our meeting, and it kept on going, all right, it kept on going all the way to my house. All right, so it wasn't an intent to, catch somebody doing something wrong, there was no intent for that. Okay, unfortunately, it captured the time of this discussion that was held, okay, that I felt it's wrong, it's a deliberation. Any discussions within a quorum of a body, all right, with anything that the quorum of the body can act on, or would be acting on, would turn around, and if it's not posted on the agenda, you're not allowed to talk to it. If you do it outside of the agenda that we had, then unfortunately, it's against the law. All right, and it's clear that the discussions that were held there, all right, violated the open meeting law. All right, there's no questions about it. I don't know how much you can turn around. Just because Will and I were talking about one thing, and you and Jack were talking about another one, even though we're all in the same meeting, I heard what you said, okay, and that made it. Will was in the room too, okay, I don't know if Will heard it or not, but I did, and I turned around and said, that makes a quorum, and we needed to disclose it. That's what I wanted to say. The disclosure is one thing, all right, just admit it, yeah, the conversation happened, you're right, okay, and I wouldn't have had a problem with it. Okay, the problem came in the fact that when you turn around and say, I want this whole bottom section taken off. But that's the disclosure that you have to provide if you do something wrong. It's just being open and honest government. All right? And that's what we are. We have to be open and honest. Okay, if you're not gonna be open and honest, then there's a problem. And all I want is an admission. And this is trash. Really, from this lawyer is trash. It's basically saying, guess what? You did nothing wrong, okay? Nothing happened, hey, oh well, life goes on. You get the same stuff from Copeland and Page. And guess what? How many times have my open meeting laws turned around and filed against the town, come back in violations? Numerous ones. And they even turned around and come back. If it wasn't for my open meeting law, this disclosure here at the top that says when you posted this online, every state, every town in this state, I should say, has to do this now. Why? Because of me and my open meeting law complaint. So if you want to attack me for open meeting law complaints, go right ahead, Will. I
Who's
don't care.
attacking you? Nobody's
did.
attacking you.
You did.
Nobody's attacking
And
you.
you allowing this to go through is an attack too. And it's wrong.
Well, that's your opinion.
It's wrong.
It's not an attack. You're gonna treat it as an attack. It's not.
I gotta go pick my daughter up now, but you know what, I feel bad that I'm on a board that no one can admit they're wrong. If I do something wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong.
Yep.
And you know what, I feel really bad that you guys can't.
Okay.
Well, you know, Donna, member comment on, and I know you're reading, Bob, but I had read your letter to the editor, and I had wanted to pass it out to our members here. Some of the things you said in the lower left-hand corner, that you say, some people may call me names and chastise me and so forth and so on. And, again, in law, open meeting law complaints against our town boards, committee, commissions, etc., costing the taxpayer, and now here's the important part, costing the taxpayers money to defend illegal actions by those boards, committees, commissions, and authorities. And then you say, and I really don't care what they think. My point is clear. This town needs to follow the laws. Then I continue to read on, and on the right-hand side, there were several ZBA violations and so forth, and you gave yourself credit, as you did tonight, with this little posting things that you can
Yeah.
open the doors. But then on the lower right-hand corner, you end up by saying the town should have mandatory OML training every year for boards, committees, commissions, and authorities.
Yep.
And then you make the last statement, which really kind of like, I don't know, Bob, but if numerous complaints are filed, then the chairman should should be held accountable and be removed or stepped down.
Yes.
So, on both sides of this equation, you really don't care how much you're spending of my taxpayer dollars.
What you should be,
Because, wait a minute, because you clearly want to do what you think is right. May not be, but you think is right.
the Attorney General,
Then on the other side, and then on the other side, Bob, you're making a statement. If somebody has numerous complaints, you're asking that chairman to step down and be accountable,
yes.
okay? Now, why don't you take your case back, and I'm sure it says right here, why don't you take your case back to the town administrator? I'm serious. Take your case back to the town administrator, work with the selectmen, create an OML training on an ongoing basis, and make it a statement, make it a law.
Okay.
Pass something so that.
Joanna, just to let you know, this is still running anyways for audio,
That's
but I
fine.
wanna know something,
That's fine.
okay? I sat up there with Wilson, with, sorry, Will, with, Rick LaFond numerous times to tell him that, why are these not going through?
upstairs.
Why aren't you taking care of this? And Rick LaFond didn't wanna do nothing about it. He didn't care. His goal was to protect people that he appointed to boards, committees, and commissions. That was it. Doesn't matter, okay? And I'll tell you, I filed another open meeting law today against the zoning board because one of their members went up there and clearly violated the open meeting law the same way you guys did with this discussion here that you had. He took papers from a case that they were hearing right then and there before the meeting, sat down with them, started discussing it with two other members sitting right there, which makes a quorum. Then he went over to two other members, all right, and talked to them about it. All right. Then when I requested those papers, those documents, the chairman refused to give them to me, even though they had copies sitting right there. See, that's what I have. Just admit you're wrong. The chairman at no time for the zoning board ever turned around and said, "What's the open meeting law complaint about?" He didn't care. See, this is the animosity that is filtered through this town. Am I angry? Yeah, I am angry. I just want you to admit you did something wrong. Admit you did something wrong. But the problem is, it's always cover up, cover up, cover up. All right, you didn't do anything wrong. Just admit it. That's all I ask. Just admit it. If I can do it, why can't you guys? And that just meant you guys as the whole town.
I entertain a motion to adjourn. We've done everything that was on the agenda.
I move that we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Good, clean cut, done. Thank you, everybody.
I'd like this put on the next agenda to talk to. Talk
What's
about.
this here, buddy?
are the people coming in from the gardens?
Yes, on the fifth.
Board,
The fifth,
commission,
August.
committee,
I don't know whether the,
what is it?
water view is gonna be ready yet.
Oh, is this your,
They weren't ready.
where's this from, Bob?
This is from me.
Oh,
What happened to the gas project?
Jack, did you,
That's
Water view, they
that's one
weren't,
of you, okay.
they weren't ready yet.
Can you scan that and get that to everybody, and that, yeah, that will be, with those minutes, and the other minutes that you have,
Ah.
the minutes that we didn't have from last, our meeting that we just did,
Right, you'll have that for the next one,
yeah.
and this
And this
one.
one here,
And this one
obviously.
will be done, that we're here meeting today,
And this
and
one
then
here.
that one there.
because Joanne
For those
had a
three.
question on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, there's one had you was gonna put like 6
I'm not ready
colon,
yet.
the
We
time,
asked
you
them
wouldn't
for a
make the
bunch of-
time.
Right, but we
look like
approved that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're gonna change it.
I'll make the changes
I thought they were
and
coming to
I'll
the
put it
last
online
meeting,
that way.
And they
Okay,
didn't
fine.
want to. I don't know if they're gonna be ready on the 5th, he's gonna get back to me.
This is Waterview, Waterview, you're
Yeah.
talking
They're
about?
probably getting a runaround from like N-Star or the Grid.
Yeah,
whoever.
he
We
wanted-
adjourned, we really shouldn't be discussing this.
This was till Christmas 2 days, then I'll just